So, John, you mentioned that there were 6 closing principles that salespeople really just don't know or understand. Why don't you tell us a little bit about closing principle number 1?
The first principle, Kyla, is that you cannot close until the buyer's ready. And if you try to, from neuroscience, the old brain, the image of the flashy salesperson flashes up. They attach that image to you, and now the probability of getting the sale has gone down to about 5%.
Yeah, 5%. We never want to be the pushy salesperson. So, let's see what that looks like.
Karen, I know this is just our first meeting, but I think we're ready to go to contract right now.
Right now?
Trust me, this will save your program. It never fails. I've done this a million times.
Okay, John, so you've mentioned 6 closing principles. Why don't you tell us a little bit about closing principle number 2?
Well, number 2, Kyla, if the buyer is ready to go, ready to give us the order, and we don't recognize it, and we keep on talking and selling within a very short period of time, the buyer shifts back to no and stays there. And we now have a 90% chance of losing the sale.
Oh, so they're timid at the close.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So let's take a look at what that looks like.
So Karen, what do you think of our CRM system?
Compared to those other packages, I think yours could really work for us.
That's terrific. Now, what I usually do at this point is give a 30-minute detailed demonstration of the program.
I thought we could just talk about the implementation plan for the requirements analysis phase.
Well, I think it's very important that you see the full capabilities of the program before we just dive in.
Okay.
Okay, so John, please tell me a little bit about closing principle number 3.
In closing principle number 3, you can tell when the buyer is ready to go, so it's time to make a definitive closing approach by a combination of the dialogue, the conversation, and the body language. And the body language shows the true signals.
Oh, okay, so they physically shift?
They physically shift.
Okay, so let's take a look at an example of the buyer's shift.
So Karen, what do you think of our CRM system?
After all the CRM packages I've taken a look at, I think yours could work. How would we get started?
Well, the next step is the requirements analysis. Would you like to get that started on May 15th?
You know what? Based upon everything I've seen and everything you've shown me, let's do it.
Okay, John, so overall we have 6 closing principles. Let's dive in a bit to closing principle number 4.
In principle number 4, Kyla, you want to make sure you make a definitive closing approach so that the buyer knows exactly what you're offering. And you know that it's time to do it because from principle number 3, you can tell by a combination of the dialogue, the conversation, how the body's looking, that they are ready to go. So when you know they're ready to go, make a definitive closing approach. Don't beat around the bush. Don't ask weak trial closes. Don't hope the buyer will close themselves, because 90% of the buyers will in fact not close themselves.
Oh, okay, so let's take a look at the difference between some weak closing approaches and a definitive closing approach.
Karen, so what do you think of our CRM system?
I've looked at a number of packages now, and I think yours could work for us. What's the next step?
Well, I'll go back to the office and I'll start the process, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Okay, I'll wait to hear from you.
Karen, what do you think of our CRM system?
I've looked at a number of CRM packages now, and I think yours could work. How would we get started?
Well, the next step is the requirements analysis. Would you like to get that started on May 15th?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, John, let's dive into closing principle number 5.
In number 5, once you propose the close of the deal to the buyer, be silent. let the buyer respond. And the reason for this principle is that in many cases, the buyer's thinking, they're considering, comparing. And if you interrupt their thinking, they're no longer thinking.
Right.
And if they're no longer thinking because you interrupted them, it comes across as rude. And now we're back down to that 5% chance of getting this sale.
You know, I could see this being very tempting for salespeople, especially ones who are, very talkative and extroverted, that they may get uncomfortable during that thinking process or silence and interrupt their own closing approach.
Very tempting.
Okay, so let's take a look at some salespeople struggling with this.
So, Karen, what do you think of our CRM system?
I've looked at a number of CRM packages now, and I think yours could work. How would we get started?
Well, the next step is the requirements analysis. Would you like to get that started on May 15th? Do you need any more information?
No, I don't think so.
Does that date work?
Let me think about it some more. I think I need to just check some things with some of the other CRM software systems.
You're sure there's nothing else I can do?
No, I think we're okay for now.
Okay, John, looks like we're at our last closing principle, number 6.
Yes, and number 6, once the buyer's agreed, quit talking about the deal, quit selling the deal, quit giving more information.
Okay.
Because you may give additional information that will cause the buyer to say, whoa, I didn't know your proposal didn't cover that, and then shift back to no.
Ooh. Okay, well, let's take a look at that.
Would you like to get started on May 15th?
Yes, let's do it.
Ah, that's terrific. This is going to be great. It'll be our first opportunity to integrate with a company with SAP.
Did you say first time?
Yes,
Wait a minute. Your first time?
it's going to be wonderful.
I need to rethink this.
So to reiterate, I've never met a salesperson globally who understands all 6 closing principles, the neuroscience involved, and the data behind them.
Yes, and what's great about coming to the Asher training programs is that every participant will get a deep dive into the 6 closing principles and really learn how to close like an elite salesperson.